Welcome to The Curve Weekly, where we read the finance news so that you don't have to. I'm joined by my co-host Vic Harris, who is an ex-fund manager and made a career out of making money for other people. And I'm Sophie Hallwright, ex-producer who used to work in television, radio, and was just sick and tired of not knowing what's going on when it comes to money. So we started this podcast. We had a few technicals last week. We won't bore you with the details, but essentially this week's Curve Weekly is absolutely packed with all of the finance news that you may have missed over the last 2 weeks. Coming up in today's episode, we speak about why all of the US billionaires, and I'm talking like Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all the big dogs, why are they cashing out and why are the headlines not what they seem? The Australian Open drama. There is so much going on in this space around how much the players are being paid, prize money, as well as trying to get pension and maternity support covered for players. China has a massive trade surplus, as in 1.2 trillion. We're going to explain what a trade surplus is, what it means for the global economy, and who's actually benefiting from this. We've got a new segment. Now, this is something we've never done before. It's with Nat, who you may recognize from the podcast. She is a tech expert, and we talk about all things tech, AI, but not actually what's hot, what's important. And when there's a huge amount of clutter and space and people speaking about tech and AI, having someone that is a true professional give us their insight, this is golden. And finally, Soho House, dear to our hearts, is absolutely struggling. It's nearly gone private in a deal that then completely blew up. What's happening with the share price? And why does exclusivity not actually necessarily mean profit? But before we dive in, we're talking about our boyfriends. Oh my God, hi.
Hi.
I'm opening a margarita for this episode.
Oh dear gosh.
I felt like I needed to celebrate.
Why? What?
No, I haven't done anything. I'm sorry, I haven't got anything.
Oh, don't get me excited.
Sorry. I'm trying to think, do I have anything to celebrate? What? I feel like you do have something.
No. I just don't know if it's podcast. Like, it's not that exciting.
Oh, can you tell me anyway?
Oh, no, I just did a really incredible event yesterday.
Really?
At Bell Gully in New Zealand. It's a law firm. And there was over 100 people there. They had an overflow room.
You're kidding.
They had this one room and then there was an overflow room in case, like, because there was so many people that had registered. It was like their first event that they'd done in this like Women at Bell Gully network. And every attendee was asked to bring a +1, whether it's your daughter or like someone younger, I think was kind of the preface. And it was so incredible to see like such a packed room. I got so nervous.
Did you?
Just that many people. Like I've done events before and like I never really get that nervous, but there was a little bit of me when I first started. I was like, oh my goodness, there is this many people on a Tuesday lunchtime wanting to learn about investing. I was like, made my heart sing a little bit.
I'm speaking at an event tomorrow for the first time ever without you, and I'm nervous. Real nervous. And I'm not sure if I should start by saying, hi everyone, I'm nervous to be here. Because I almost feel like it's a bad start. You don't want to make people feel like, so don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to be, it's like, because I'm so used to if I forget what to say looking at you and you fill in my sentence. So
well, we bounce off, we do like podcast style, say something, then I'll pause. And then you say something and then it's
so easy. I'm quite nervous. They were like, you've got 10 tickets. You can invite other people. And I was like, I'm doing no way. I'm definitely not inviting anyone. I'm too scared. I want to know no one in the crowd. But there's going to be like 200 people there.
You'll be fine.
God.
Just realize you're a normal person, right? You know, it's like, oh, whoops, wrong slide. Or, oh, my mic's not working. It's like, that is normal stuff that happens.
Like, for example, if I forget what I'm saying, I could say, fully forgot what I was about to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that fine?
And be like, I'll be like, oh, just had a little stumble on my words there, didn't I? You know,
like, God, it's feeling a bit like mom jokey.
No, okay, maybe that last little bit. But I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I just say what I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's good advice. I'm also going to really try and just get, like, I don't have time to be nervous for it. Do you know what I mean? So I just have got to just get the F over it. But actually, for anyone who is thinking, oh, I want to hear you guys speak, we are going to be doing some New Zealand events, which we haven't actually announced just yet. We'll let you know all the details once we've finalised. If anyone has any really beautiful spaces that fit over 300 people in either Auckland or Christchurch, could you please get in touch with us? Because
we're not asking a lot.
Yeah. Also, if anyone wants to cater margarita, bring drinks.
If anyone wants to speak, if anyone wants to sub in. Where are you, Soph?
What do you mean?
Well, I have not seen that house before.
I am in...
Your grandma's?
Don't be fucking rude about my boyfriend's house. He's in the other room. And he may listen to this, so don't be rude. I love this house. It's got character.
It does, but it looks very lived in, not a
That's
not
what
a
I
flat.
love about it.
Yeah, there's art on the wall.
It's home. There's...
Yeah.
Oh, that sounded intense.
It's like in a new relationship and you're like, yeah, love you, bye. Ooh.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there is a lot
Stage
of art.
5 clinger.
So I've moved my stuff into the spare room.
You don't mind, do you? Just my toothbrush. Oh my God, it reminds me of that movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This is a love fern. Don't tell me you've already bought a plant.
No, I haven't. That is an iconic film. I loved that film. No, I haven't bought a plant. I did get a really good Christmas gift though.
Nice.
I painted a plate. You know those fun kind of paint and sips? And I painted a plate that had chilies all over it. And then in the middle I wrote, "Eat me."
I thought you were going to say you spice up my life or something.
Oh, no, that would have been equally cringe. But I thought kind of fun, sort of sexy. I really hope no one that knows him listens to this podcast.
Did you spend Christmas together?
No. No. My mum was in a hospital over Christmas.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, sorry.
No, we didn't. But I did remember I went to Devon. I did.
Oh, yes.
I had a really lovely time. It was so beautiful.
So I've dating a British guy.
So fun.
So fun. Do you just sometimes say, just speak to me. Just keep
I'm
talking.
honestly obsessed with the accent.
You're like, just talk.
It's so sexy. I'd love to slowly over time develop a British accent. I just know it's completely socially unacceptable to fake it at 34.
You come back to New Zealand, everyone's like, wow, how long were you in London for? You're like, 2 years?
I'm going to catch the bus. I'm going to get an Uber.
Flower Man, if you ever want to,
He is the most New Zealand sounding guy that you will ever hear. G'day guys, welcome to the pod. He is not. There's no way he's edging towards a British accent.
Damn it.
He's got a very deep, lovely voice though.
He does. Yes.
Do you think
We love
it's
him.
about time that we start saying his actual name, or are we still happy with the cover of Flower Man? Because
It's quite fun.
it is quite fun. Okay, great. We'll keep
Makes
it
it a bit
anon.
more sexy.
So
Wow.
fun. Yeah, love it. He might need to start sending more flowers though. It's been a while between bouquets, I will say. Actually, let's move on from talking about
Yeah.
men, talk about more interesting
finance.
things. There's a lot going on in the finance space. For anyone that, follows along closely to our social media, you may or may not have seen that we spent our weekend recording a Curve Weekly and unfortunately had technicals. So we basically have a shitload of finance news to talk about today because there was a whole lot of stuff that happened last week. There's a whole lot of stuff that's happened recently. So we're going to do our best to get through it all. There's a lot of good stories. Where should we start?
So we actually got sent a post from a guy with a finance platform. And it was like, hey guys, can you explain this? And I watched it and I instantly was like, oh, let me at it. And essentially it was a guy who's got a finance platform and he was like scaremongering effectively, being like, look, there is so many billionaires that are selling stock and it's a big warning signal that the market is gonna crash and all of this. And I
Should
was
we
like,
play
oh,
a tiny bit of that clip?
yeah.
Something strange is happening in the markets, and billionaires are sending a message with their money. Warren Buffett just held $325 billion in cash, his largest position ever. Jeff Bezos sold $13 billion in Amazon stock. Mark Zuckerberg sold billions in Meta at all-time highs, and it's not random. When the smartest money in the room says the market is too expensive, they start converting stocks to cash. Now, this follows a historical pattern. In 1929, Joseph Kennedy systematically exited before the crash. In 2008, legendary investors like Paulson and Burry saw it coming and positioned accordingly. The pattern is identical. Phase 1, massive insider selling at peaks. Phase 2, crash 12 to 18 months later. Phase 3, maximum fear becomes maximum opportunity. Are you protecting yourself, or are you betting that this time is different? History says it's not. Stay vigilant. Be loud.
It got me thinking, with everything that I read, I like to read beyond the headlines, right? With this, it was like, yeah, billionaires are selling. That means the stock market's going to crash. And he referenced things like Warren Buffett, who is one of the world's most famous investors. He is holding in his investment company the most cash he's ever held. Then he highlighted the fact that Jeff Bezos has sold stock in Amazon. Also, Mark Zuckerberg has sold billions of Meta stock. And so I got digging.
Of course she did.
What he's saying is that all of these really, really great investors and billionaires are effectively selling or not investing in the stock market right now because they think that it's too frothy and we're at the peak, essentially. So they're selling their stock. And yes, that is happening, but we need to look at any founder that's selling stock or any famous investor, big time investor, billionaire. You need to look at like the percentage of their stock that they're selling, right? Because
they might just be wanting to buy a boat.
It sounds like when Jeff Bezos is selling $13 billion of Amazon stock, that is a headline alone. Of course, that's like, whoa. But that is less than 2% of his overall stock that he owns in Amazon. So yes, as a dollar figure, it sounds like a lot, but in the scheme of things, it's not. And he has been selling year after year after year. So this is not new news, but taken out of context, it can really freak people out about the stock market. And yes, we've had 3 years of the stock market doing, nearly 20% per year, which is much higher than the normal, which we say the average is about 10%. So, there is probably a period of lower returns coming. Whether that's this year, whether it's next year, I don't know. But the stock market has done so well. Of course, these people are going to sell some of their stock, but I personally don't think it is a reason for everyone else to freak out and sell their investments. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
I'd love to know what Jeff Bezos is doing with that amount of money.
Paying for his wedding?
No, I think I saw his wife in the news recently for donating a huge amount of money. And I thought, God, we need more billionaires like her. We need firstly more female billionaires, and then we need more billionaires like her that are just donating money.
I really didn't like the narrative when they're like, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife gets huge payout. Like, it's like, no. The only reason he could get to where he is and have a family and all of that is a support network that helps people get there. You could not get there without a support network.
Do you know what? I'm not trying to compare myself to the biggest billionaire in the world, but I got picked up and am having dinner cooked for me. And I wouldn't be able to, I don't know. I think if I look at last year and I shared this in our reflections episode, I really, really didn't look after myself. And I massively struggled to be a normal person and also work hard. And I am determined this year to do it differently and to not put, you're just a candle and you're eventually going to burn out. But I think my point here is when you have friends, family, a partner, a family, whatever, like people that are helping you stay healthy, happy, whether it's doing your laundry or making social plans, or I don't know, those things I think can be so incredibly undervalued. And I don't know, maybe this is going to sound weird, but I had a sauna before this podcast record because I really wanted to show up and have good energy. And the way that I've shown up now and how I feel and what the energy that I think that I'm bringing to what is my work is so much better because I feel healthy and like I've looked after myself. Yeah, it's so unfair and it's so wrong to devalue what she would have brought to that relationship and what so many people who stand beside very, very busy business people. I don't know. The whole thing really drives me nuts.
But interestingly, speaking of those billionaires, there has been some articles that have been put out about how much money they've made under Trump's leadership. And it is wild. Elon Musk has made, and this is Trump 2.0, so not when he was first in power. And even though these guys had a falling out, he's made over 200 billion while Trump's been in power. Jeff Bezos, 15 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, about 2 billion. Sam Altman, which is the OpenAI CEO, the evaluation of their business has gone from about 150 billion to 500 billion.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Is this just while he's been in the last year?
Yeah.
How?
Because the stock market has done so well and they own stock. So you can see why they are wanting to get in bed with him when this is the outcome, right? It's self-motivated. And when you invest, I hate to say it, but when you invest in businesses where the founder owns a lot of shares, one of these businesses, for example, you benefit as well. You might not have billions, but the share prices have done well. And yeah, it's just interesting to highlight everyone is a bit self-motivated when it comes to these things.
Do you feel like when you hear the list of those names and how much they've made and the fact that they're in bed with Trump, do you have any kind of ethical issue or moral standpoint on investing in those companies?
I can't make a blanket statement for all of them, right? Like it's each business is so different. Like, yes, Tesla's got its issues, Meta's got its issues, Google, has also got its issues. It depends like what you mean ethically, right? Because Google absolutely dominating in AI, and global carbon emissions in the US have gone up by 2.4% last year, after 2 years of decline, and that's all due to AI. So therefore, do you not invest in Google because of its contribution to AI and therefore, its impact on the environment? Do you not invest in Meta because of, what it's doing in social media to young people? Do you not invest in Tesla because of Elon Musk as the leader and what he, how he treated people and, the poor work conditions that they have at Tesla, but yet it's going to be absolutely game changing in order to reduce carbon emissions because more people driving electric vehicles. Like you've just got to, you kind of, it's so personal and you have to figure out where the line is for you personally and invest that way. And it's such a tricky one.
I go through such phases of feeling differently about that. Maybe right now, just the mention of Trump and how much money he's making them, I don't know, it makes me so angry.
We had a great guest on the podcast. I don't think the episode's gone out yet, but she was almost highlighting like you have much greater power being a conscious consumer and, not buying products that don't align with your values and your ethics and all of that than you do being an investor, which was quite an interesting kind of
take. That's so
interesting. Yeah.
Why did she say that?
Well, she was like, yes, you can say I don't want to invest in companies that, produce carbon emissions for whatever. She's like, but look around you. Like pretty much everything in this room was created by fossil fuels. So until you can, as a consumer, not contradict yourself in that way, your impact as, investing in that way is going to be so insignificant. So you have a much greater power of not buying a store's product or a company's product. That's going to impact the company more than not buying their shares. And I was like, interesting.
I don't know if I totally agree with that, but interesting take.
She was also kind of highlighting don't contradict yourself, right? It's like consume the way you invest as well. So
no, I think that's valid.
If you're driving a petrol car, but I won't invest, it's like you could actually have more impact by not buying petrol than not buying BP or Shell.
I think it's really interesting because I've been thinking and talking about this a lot lately. I feel as though there's been this huge global shift to people caring less or doing less when it comes to the environment. And I don't know if this is stemming from Trump and his whole drill baby drill or if this is, I don't know what it is, but if I look at my own habits and my own ethics and morals and where I used to be 3 years ago compared to where I am now, I'm quite ashamed of how little effort I'm making when it comes to being a conscious consumer. I'm so much less focused on it than I used to be, and I just don't know if this is totally personal, if anyone else feels the same, but I've brought it up with a few friends lately, and I don't know if they're trying to make me feel better, but they said, I think there is a global shift away from that, but yeah, I don't know, I'd be interested to know if people listening who feel similar maybe used to be really on it with a keep cup or not using plastic or not buying meat or whatever your angle is that you perhaps really cared about, if you're still feeling as on it. I don't know, I feel quite ashamed to admit it, but it's definitely something that I have slipped on. And I don't know if it's maybe being in London and being in a massive city and feeling like I don't really have the option sometimes to not take an easy, convenient option like ordering from Amazon. But I definitely don't feel like I'm anywhere near as conscious of a consumer as I used to be. And it's not a good thing.
I think you're right. Trump has played a big part in that. But I also think the cost of living crisis and the fact that a lot of economies aren't, like New Zealand, for example, the economy here is not doing well. It is very hard to make that decision to buy organic or pay for the more expensive product that's made out of recycled material or, reusable material versus, if something's a higher price, it's very hard to make that decision when you're not in a financially strong position. And I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's just like we see it time and time again. Anyway.
Should we move on to news item number 2?
Yes. So the Australian Open, the tennis tournament is on at the moment in Australia, but there's been a bit of a rack up and there's been a bit of news in the media about players not getting paid what they're worth. And it's caused quite, I guess, an overshadow of the tournament, which has been one of the best ever, record numbers, record turnout. But the backlash that this is men and women players are having against the Australian Open, but also all other Grand Slams as well. So Wimbledon, US Open, French Open, all of those other tennis tournaments, is that they want a bigger share of the revenue that these tournaments bring in. They're like, we are key in these tournaments being a success, yet we get about 16% of the revenue that the tournaments bring in. And they're like, we want it to be closer to, I think they're only asking for like 22%.
What is it comparatively to other parts of the world? Like to other big, for example, I don't know, a massive basketball game or a massive rugby game, what percentage do players get in different sporting arenas? Have I ever sounded less sporty in my life? In other sporting events, what is the kind of percentage?
It depends, right? Because this is an individual sport versus like team sports, but it's roughly 50% is what other sports get give their players. Yeah, so they're like, excuse me, like you guys make so much money off this tournament. We are vital in terms of helping you generate that money. And we want a bigger part of the revenue. And Australian Open's argument is that there has been, a huge step up in the prize pool. This year, the total prize pool is just over $100 million. So that is 16% of the entire Australian Open revenue.
God, that is a very lucrative event. Holy shit.
Yeah. But tennis players make a very small percentage of their total earnings comes from prize money or actually playing the sport. It's like endorsements and all of that. But what they're also asking for, which I thought was quite cool, is they want these tournaments to contribute to what they're creating, which is a global player welfare fund, which includes healthcare, pensions, maternity benefits. Like they're like, okay, you play the players, prize money, but then we also want you to contribute to this fund for for tennis players globally that gives them access to money for their pensions, money for healthcare, maternity benefits, all of
clever.
that. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting.
That's really cool.
But yeah, it's really overshadowed the tournament. And I think it's just a bigger conversation, right? We are seeing sports absolutely boom. Like that headline of record numbers at Australian Open, like that's not the first headline that I've seen. There is a lot of interest in sport at the moment and the kind of live events. And I think people just crave still like a hangover from COVID, like that human connection and those cultural moments. And
I do love this trend towards people caring more about sport. It's so interesting. I used to, even Flower Man who works in sports, I always would be a bit confused by how much, I don't know, it was definitely more targeted at men. I always felt like, oh, you're interested in sports. But this is so classic. But now that women care about sport and lots of women are starting to watch stuff, I'm really starting to get on board. It's quite amazing how, I don't know, why is that? Because even if we think about Formula One, it's enormous and it's boomed. Female rugby and soccer has become huge. Football, like I don't know, I feel like so many sports are starting to, and sports people are starting to become.
Well, sports people have like followings and personalities and personal brands that people get into, as well as everything that goes around these events, right? Like if you think about, tennis now, it's all about the partners, what they wear, who is attending. Like there is kind of a bit more of, I guess, a social element around it rather than.
Oh my God, you're right. It's like the Netflix shows, and it's not actually just about the sport. It's about the partners. It's about someone had an affair with someone. It's almost using people, not just their brands or what they represent from a sporting perspective, but them as people. And I guess it kind of follows the trend of creator entrepreneurs and influence, like the extension of influencers. It's not posing for bikini shots. It's people interested in people's lives, like deeply interested.
Totally. Yeah. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo. God, I can never say his name.
Cristiano
Ronaldo, yeah. And like how many millions of followers he has on Instagram, and then people are interested in his wife and his kids, and like you become this.
It's like by association.
Yeah, I agree. I think sport is really great. And when I was like first dating Flowerman, I kind of didn't get it, and now seeing that like camaraderie at sports games and like all of that, getting little kids are excited to support their team, and they go along with their families and like make a day of it. Like it's so. There's something about it, and like also teaching them that like, you're not going to win all the time, but that's okay, like all of that.
I love that. Yeah. And also it's weird that I have that attitude given I was a competitive sports person. It's bizarre. But I think it's more I don't understand a lot about a lot of games, and I think if I understood the rules more, I would get really excited. Because the idea of dressing up and going to a big venue and screaming for the team that you want to win is so fun.
Do you like ice hockey?
Why ice hockey?
Have you watched Heated Rivalry?
No, what is it?
Have you heard of Heated Rivalry?
No, I genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, wow. I feel like there'll be people like screaming when they hear this.
What do you mean?
Just go watch it.
Is it a Netflix show?
Let's just say a lot of people have got very interested in ice hockey.
Ice hockey. Okay, right on it. Oh, by the way, for anyone that doesn't subscribe to our newsletter, we've started a fun new segment at the bottom. I don't know if you've noticed it, but we do a recommends, and it's shows, books, heaps of different things, podcasts we've listened to, etc. from the whole team. And it's actually so great. Things we've bought lately, blah, blah, blah. Keep an eye out for that. I feel like
maybe I should have put it on there.
I was going to say maybe someone has put it on there, and if not, maybe it should go for this week.
Oh my God, sorry. It is like an absolute tornado storm outside, and I hope you can't hear this.
I don't think I can hear it, but I'm so confused with what's going on in New Zealand, because one minute I saw all these photos of people having the best summer ever, and now people are bunking down.
Did you see my TikTok?
No, what did you do?
Go follow my TikToks, everyone.
What is it now? I love that. Vic's social media takes is so good.
They're not. I think they're really funny, but I just feel like I'm a bit cringe.
No, I love it.
No, it was just like the hot, like Kiwi summer. I'm like, what is this?
I feel like you've had lots of storms.
Yeah.
How everyone's like, you can't beat a Kiwi summer.
You definitely can. Yeah.
You go to Europe. You beat a Kiwi summer by going to Spain. Sorry.
Where you are going to have 30 degree days every day. There is no storms.
Even in winter.
There is, yeah, even in winter, yeah. But I'm going to a wedding this weekend, and it is 5 degrees. I didn't bring my clothes home for 5 degrees. I mean,
do you want me to send something?
Yeah, please.
Oh, God, I'll do express. I mean, this happened to me last year. I was in New Zealand, and it was this insane random winter in London that was amazing, and I missed it. And then I got back, and it was the opposite. I feel like I chased the snow, or the storms.
It's kind of like, it serves me right,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's someone saying,
Karma.
actually, this is totally on you because you're trying to chase summers. We're actually going to drop you in the rain.
And we're going to show you can't.
Hello, just a quick little interruption to let you know that we have something very exciting coming out soon. This is a project we've been working on for about a year. We are launching a brand new podcast and practical course called IOU, and it's launching in mid-February 2026. And honestly, I feel like this is exactly what I needed the moment I got my first pay. If I had been told these basics, they're so easy. If I'd been told them so much earlier in life, I would be in a completely different financial situation right now. Most of us weren't taught the basics, from budgeting to money management to how to even interpret your pay when it comes into your email. You get the little bing, you've been paid. I mean, the basics just were not taught at school. So we were like, we owe you these lessons, hence calling it IOU. It's one beginner-friendly episode every single month of this year. There is no stupid jargon. It is totally beginner-friendly. So whether you just need a refresher or you're completely new to money conversations, this is the series for you. And there's also a practical course that goes alongside this podcast that actually is going to help make what you're learning about in the podcast click in real life. Make sure that you're signed up to our newsletter to be notified as soon as the series comes out. We're going to put a link to that in the podcast show notes. And we wanted to play a quick little trailer to get you all excited for what's coming.
Welcome to I Owe You Some Money Education, because we owe you and you guys owe me some money education because I didn't really learn it growing up.
We're Soph and Vic from The Curve, and we have roped in Lucy Blackerson from Shit You Should Care About so that she can ask all the questions that you wish you could.
Oh my God, and actually also, if you want to see me learn how to implement everything that they've tried to teach me, we have I Owe You, the practical lessons, where there's actually a course where you can do everything we've taught you how to do. It's really easy, it's really fun. Coming up in this episode, we spoke about our relationship with money, which was quite interesting because you're not often having to sit on a mic and tell everyone about your family history with money, why you may spend the way you do, why you may save the way you do. So it was kind of like a therapy session / finance session. Also, towards the end, I didn't realize that this was going to happen, but there were some voice notes that my loving family had very kindly provided the girls at The Curve with, and I was very lightly called out on 4 different occasions. So, I think you're really going to love this one, and we can't wait to hear about your relationship with money too.
This is the funnest, coolest thing we've done in a really long time, so keep your eyes and ears peeled. Okay, and now back to the episode. Hey, what's happening in China? Because something's happening in China that I would like to know about.
China. So China has come out with some news around the fact that it has had a record trade surplus of $1.2 trillion. Now, let me explain what that means, because that is, don't do that face. I'm going to explain it in really simple terms.
Yeah, okay.
It essentially means it has exported far more goods than it has imported. So it has essentially, if you take a household, for example, like a home, your home, the home you're in right now.
Oh my God, never going to live that down.
You sell things you sell things or services to other people. So it might be like you rent out a room, you have a side hustle, you're freelancing, whatever it is. That is you selling stuff to other people. And then the flip side is that you still have to buy groceries, you have to buy clothes, you have to purchase holidays, for example. If you net those off, what it is saying is that you earned, say, $120,000 a year, but you only spent $80,000. So you end up with a $40,000 trade surplus.
So it's like profit, basically.
Yeah, it's like profit, but it's at a country level. Yeah. So they've made a $1.2 trillion profit, which means that other countries have bought way more of China's products than it has bought of other countries' products.
What was the number?
1.2 trillion.
It's a lot.
And why this is such a wild figure is because this year we've had all the Trump stuff, all the tariff stuff going on. And it is saying, despite all of that, we've actually sold $1.2 trillion more than we've bought from the world. So a big FU to Donald Trump. You know, it's saying that its exports have stayed so strong despite all of this. So come try and clip our wings. Like, we have just come out much stronger than you probably ever expected. So,
but do you think that would have been a much higher number had the tariffs not gone in place? You know, do you think China would be thinking, shit, yeah, that's great? Or do you think that China would be thinking that would have been 5 times the amount had you not put those tariffs on?
Well, this is a record number, right? This is a record number it's ever had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so maybe, possibly, but it still signals like such strength from one of the biggest economies in the world. But there's also, I guess, like a catch-22 to this, right? Because it's like, okay, yes, you're extremely competitive in the world right now, but that's not very, I guess, balanced. Like, a lot of countries, whether it's the US or other countries, would be like, well, hang on a second.
It's anti-competitive in the same way that we're worried about other big companies, like whether it's Netflix and Paramount merging or whatever. It's almost like the amount that we are buying from China is so outweighed to other parts of the world that it's almost not right. And the scales kind of need to be balanced so that it's not relying so much on one country. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, we can slap higher tariffs on you then because you're exporting so much, right? And it's also, it can't go on forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is Chinese factories. Yes, they're so efficient. They're so productive. And yes, they can make things cheaply, but they still rely on the rest of the world to sell their products to them. So the rest of the world still needs to buy them, right? And you can kind of flood the market with that. But yeah, there's only so much growth you can do as such a large country, if that makes sense.
I mean, what do you take from the story? I think it particularly when I don't even really know trade surplus. Like, I mean, I get it now that you've explained it. But what are the key takeaways here?
Yeah, look, I mean, it is good for an economy. If you were in what we call a trade deficit, so you were constantly buying more products from other countries to sustain your economy and fulfill the demand for your country, that's not good either. So it's kind of like finding that balance, right? Look, we are going to do what we do well, but we're also going to buy from countries where they do it best. They do it cheaply. They do it more efficiently. That's kind of what people are taking away from this is like, okay, China, like, we know you're big, we know you're great, like, but that's kind of ridiculous that you're making a $1.2 trillion trade surplus. But I view this as kind of an investing trend as well, though, because despite everything that's gone on in the world over the last 12 months, China has come out stronger. Like, it has, I just think it's such a powerful force. And I mean, we've seen companies like the luxury names, for example, do really well off the back of this. If China is thriving, those countries rely on Chinese demand a lot. So, we've seen LVMH, which is Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, their share price has gone up 24% in the last 6 months.
Oh my God, you called that.
Kering, which is Gucci and has other brands, their share price is up 40% in the last 6 months. So yeah, when China does well as an economy, there is definitely sectors that do well as well off the back of that rely on Chinese demand. So it is a good, healthy sign. It's just like, let's just not get too big for your boots.
But hold on, because China was doing well when luxury was doing shit. So why is that a direct? It wasn't.
No. Yeah.
I always just thought China has been doing well for ages.
I mean, it has been doing, but we're like, it's more travel, right? It's more Chinese people that travel to other countries and buy these products. So when the Chinese economy is feeling great and strong, like, that reverberates around into other countries around the world. And so that's when luxury does well. The luxury space does well. Does it make sense?
Not really. I thought that China, the whole reason that America is going after China is because they have been a strong economy for a while now. And, in the last couple of years, the luxury space was doing terribly. So yes. Why all of a sudden? I mean, I know that the Chinese economy, what you're saying is it's doing even better and it's record highs. But wouldn't you then think if the economy had been strong that luxury would have remained okay?
Yeah, it's not a one for one, right? It's not like, okay, cool, China does well, luxury does well. There's so many other factors that play into it, but it is one of them. The other factor is COVID. People weren't traveling. We had cost of living crisis. People weren't feeling, and this is people in Asia, this is people all around the world, weren't feeling like they had disposable income to spend on luxury. There was also tariffs that were slapped on Europe where these products are being made. So there was a lot going on in the luxury space, but over the long term, like their largest captive customer base is Asia. So when that does well, these names tend to do well. But China, yes, you're right. China, when we say do well, it's like in relation to what, right? China has always grown at a much faster rate than a lot of other countries. And that's because it's not a developing country, but it's less mature, I guess you would say. Its growth rate has been kind of like 5-6% per year. And if we look at like New Zealand, Australia, US, it's all been kind of like 2-3%.
Right.
So when we say not doing well, it's still doing better than your other developed markets, if that makes sense.
I kind of want to backtrack to what you said before, which is what people are taking from this is they look at China and they say, okay, your trade surplus of $1.2 trillion is enormous. We know you do things well, but share a bit of that money around, buy from other places, help global trade. Would the example be, Mexico grows amazing avocados, so rather than trying to grow them yourself, just buy from Mexico. It's the idea that like everyone has their thing they're good at, but right now China is kind of taking everything and exporting everything and not buying really from any other countries. So is that kind of it?
Yeah, and it could also be other countries going, okay, our economies aren't doing well. We've got trade deficits, which means that we have to buy more than we can sell. And they just might jump on the whole Trump bandwagon of like, yes, let's clip China's wings a little bit and pull it into line by slapping big tariffs on it. A lot of countries aren't big enough to move the needle for China, even if they did that. If New Zealand did that, for example, like China would be like, whoop to shit, So it's great from a Chinese economy point of view, but everything in moderation, right? You just don't want to piss off the rest of the world and then it have negative flow-on effects for Chinese growth.
I don't know. I mean, with everything that's happening with Greenland and there's a lot going on in the world right now. I would love to see a banding together of everyone against America, not against China. I don't know enough about what's going on in the political space, but I feel like this like talking about China and China being so successful, is America not kind of the problem right now and Trump kind of the problem? And actually, if there's a way where we can be less reliant on the US economy, I don't know. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this because particularly with the tariffs that are being put on Europe right now, I mean, can you just like explain what's going on? Because I'm obviously interested in what's going on in China, but it feels like there's so much other stuff going on with Trump and I don't know.
Yeah, I think the leader is the issue in the US, right? Not the US itself. And I think that's what people are getting increasingly frustrated and angry with. And yes, the fact that he is wanting to buy Greenland and he is becoming, I guess, quite dangerous in some of his arguments or his policies, I think is what people are fearing. But I think the country itself does not scare me. But then I guess the leader is a representation of the country itself.
It's more just that it feels like all the decisions that are being made that impact the global economy are to benefit America. And at what point are other countries going to band together and do a bit of a middle finger to America? And like, could that happen? I don't even know.
Yes and no. I think what I fear is like this complete divide, right? Are you going to be on China's side or are you going to be on the US's side? Because whatever side, you have to be in one camp if it got to that point, and there's repercussions for either. You don't want to create a world where you have to pick sides. The global economy prospers when everyone works together. But
that's not the approach that Trump is taking at all.
No,
and that's kind of what I mean is that like, are you not worried that, or do you not think that there's a...
I'm not hugely worried. He's only in there for 3 years, hopefully. What worries me is the dominance of everything, whether it's, I think when things are balanced and more equalized, if that makes sense, then things work better. So, China being too big, US being too big, even the tech names, right? Even Google being too big, Meta being too big, Amazon being too big, like all of those, even the tech names as a whole being too big. Like in any situation, whether it's a corporate or at a country level, when something gets too big and has too much influence, that's what concerns me. And then you've got regulation that comes in to help prevent that. But when that body or that regulatory body is also controlled by the country or company, then that's also concerning. And that's what Trump's doing. He's trying to control the people that get in his way.
Whew, I almost wonder, Vic, if it would be really cool to do, cool the wrong adjective, but I would really love to do a deep dive into that and what's going on and hear more of your thoughts on the global political / economic situation, because I see so many headlines about Trump and about China and about America and about tariffs, and I must say it's really hard to keep up. So
yes, but like I'm not a political expert, and I don't yes, I follow the political headlines, and yes, there is policies that play into companies that I invest in. But at the end of the day, I'm a long-term investor. I'm looking at the long-term growth of these businesses. And yes, companies can change policies or tariffs can introduce that impact around the edges. But look at Trump. He's coming out with more tariff threats and the market hasn't really moved, versus back in April when the market really, had a decent fall, it was off about 10%. People just don't believe him anymore. So there's very little merit to what he says. It's all about headlines. It's all about, getting a reaction.
He loves the attention, doesn't he?
Yeah. And so, yes, I'm obviously happy to do a deep dive, but I also just don't want people to think that this is something they kind of need to, of course, they need to worry about it probably more from a personal standpoint is probably more concerning for me of how this impacts women's rights and progression in the world and all of that. I don't want to discount it because it is important, but it's just more, I think presidents and prime ministers are only in for short terms, and whereas when you invest, you're in there for the long term. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting take. I always need to remember economic long-term view.
Yes.
I keep forgetting I don't want to be an STI.
Don't want to be an STI.
I don't want to be an STI.
Which is not a sexually transmitted infection. It is. You don't want to be a short-term investor.
Yeah.
Speaking of dominance, AI. I feel like we need an AI section in every Curve Weekly now, because it's just going to become such a big part of not only investing but our lives. And
I actually agree, and I think that Nat, who we had on the podcast, who is one of our business advisors, actually, she's such a tech expert. I reckon we get her on as a regular tech expert.
Oh my god, great. We'd learn so much.
I think it's got to happen. We all need to be way more on top of what's going on, and I think hearing it from someone that's working in the space and living and breathing and on top of all of the tech stuff could be really good. Hello, Sophie here. Just interrupting to let you know that in between recording this episode and having the genius light bulb moment from, I think, Vic, about getting Nat on the podcast, we've managed to get hold of her. We've managed to convince her. And so we've got a new segment for you. So this is Nat, our Techspert. If you have not listened to the episode we did with her a few months ago, please listen. We'll link that in the podcast show notes because she's amazing. And you have way more context as to who she is and why we get her on as our Techspert. But basically, this conversation is a zoomed out view on what is happening in the tech and AI space. So Nat has sent us a voice note, which we're going to play for you in a second, and it is her thoughts on all of the things that we've been speaking about when it comes to tech and AI in this episode. So we're going to play that for you now.
You mentioned the Australian Open. There's actually a really interesting technology company that's actually running a lot of the operations behind that particular day, and it's an Australian tech company called Safety Culture. So if you look at a big event like that or in any workplace, there is a lot of training that needs to happen, onboarding of different individuals, and in this case, the Australian Open, there's thousands of volunteers and thousands of vendors that they need to train, keep safe, track a lot of the equipment that happens around those workplaces and events. So actually there's a huge opportunity to look at a lot of manual processes that need to happen across a business. And in some cases, it's taking things like that were checklists that were paper-based, for example. And there are a lot of successful tech companies that are actually seeing those opportunities of old ways of working and then saying, how can we add a digital or tech lens to doing that? So there actually is incredible amount of tech companies that actually support big events like that, and Safety Culture, an Australian tech company, being one of them. Zooming out globally, you mentioned China. One of the things that you don't actually see talked about very often is just the pure amount of investment that countries across the world, particularly China, are actually making in AI research. So if you look at the sheer volume of academic research papers across the world, China is by far leading in the output of their AI research papers, followed by the US, the UK, and then India. So a lot of the AI that you might use every day, that actual innovation comes from research. So if you want to zoom out and look at, say, countries that are making big strategic technology investments, what people don't always look at is actually the research that those particular companies are investing in. So yeah, that's another different, I guess, a tech strategic lens to the China conversation. Hope that was helpful, guys.
We would love to hear your thoughts on this segment. Is this interesting? Did you learn something? Would you like to hear more from Nat? And, maybe a regular Techspert slot where we can just get a professional's look in and what is actually happening in AI and tech. Please leave a comment wherever you're listening. Comment, DM us, let us know what you thought. And as you know, we have the Curve hotline, our very sexy red phone, which sits in our studio. If you'd like to send us a voice note, we will also leave a link for that in the podcast show notes. We would love to hear from you.
So Elon Musk is suing OpenAI, so they own ChatGPT, and Microsoft for $134 billion in damages. So essentially, like, winding back the clock a bit, Elon Musk was actually a really early investor in OpenAI. And when they were a not-for-profit structure, so they set up this not-for-profit structure because they wanted OpenAI to be kind of free for everyone. It was kind of part of making the world a better place. And they thought that it was technology that everyone should have access to. Then a few years ago, I think it was 2023, they went from a not-for-profit to a for-profit, and they got investment in so they could grow and be bigger and better and effectively make profits of it. So he is saying he wants to have $134 billion in damages because he said that was, he was defrauded because OpenAI abandoned its roots to be not-for-profit and partnered with this massive software giant. So he says that it wasn't communicated appropriately to shareholders. This is not what we signed up for. Therefore, it was illegal. And so...
Sorry, Elon Musk is suing OpenAI and Microsoft.
Like... combined, yeah.
Because they were a non-for-profit and then they changed to not being. And he's saying he didn't have the adequate communication and feels like his investment, whatever, he's been taken for a ride and he wants $134 billion.
Yeah.
What? All companies have duties to their shareholders, and it just blows my mind that do you think there's a case here?
I don't know.
It's so hard to know, but you just really would struggle to think that.
So Elon Musk also set up his own AI company in 2023. And so OpenAI is saying, the co-founder Sam Altman is saying that he is just doing this to slow us down as a competitor so that he can win the race in terms of the AI space.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, this is so petty. But I guess it's not when
what is wrong with these men?
When there's $134 billion on the table, it's probably not that petty. But yeah, it would be like you and me setting up the Curve, being like, look, we're going to do this as not for profit. And then you going, actually, I'm going to get this massive software company, Google, involved. And we're actually going to be a for-profit company now. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. No. That was not part of the plan. So then I leave to go set up my own Curve. And then I'm like, actually, I'm going to F on Sophie Hall, right? Because she didn't go through with what she said she was going to do. And also, I view her as a bit of a competitor, so I want to slow her down and distract her. So that's kind of what's playing out.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, because these two used to be in business together.
Yeah.
You would just,
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they still WhatsApp each other and talk it's I almost feel like what we see on the surface is probably all a facade, and behind closed doors, they're all having dinner parties together and laughing about the $134 billion that one sued the other. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like this stupid joke that we're all following as if it's this thing happening, and actually, do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels so ridiculous. And if it wasn't, and if this is he's actually suing him, how weird would it be? It's like you suing me, someone that you have like a quite decent relationship with, and then just all of a sudden being a total dick publicly.
But also, I feel like $134 billion, like, they'd probably just be like, oh gosh, Elon, not again, like, whereas obviously if I got sued for $134 billion, I'd be like, it'd be world ending, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they'd probably just say, we've dealt with these lawsuits time and time again or something. It probably just comes like normal course of business. But
How weird.
this does seem like a very strained relationship. And yeah, OpenAI is supposed to IPO this year. What's on the cards?
Well, I feel like that was my prediction. Just saying.
It was.
2026. The investing guru
2026.
over here.
Yeah.
Can we quickly say what's happening with Soho House?
So Soho House, so this is the members club. They went public in 2021. They IPO'd at $14. And then they've actually had a terrible, terrible time. So then there was this big hotel company in the US that was like, look, we are going to take you private, meaning we're going to buy all the shares on the stock market that Soho House shareholders own, and we're going to buy them, and we are going to buy them with debt, and we are going to own Soho House and help make it grow and be bigger and better. That has fallen through. So now Soho House is still a public company. Its share price has been absolutely dismal. It's now trading like below $4. And now that deal to take it private has gone, people are like, okay, well, what did they see that they didn't like? And why did they not go through with the deal?
Oh, God.
Is there
so
a big
it's just
wart?
tumbling.
Yeah. So it's they're scrambling to find other buyers or scrambling to like kind of rejig the deal so that hotel company will still buy it. But it's not looking good for Soho House. And the thing with this company is that there's this ongoing weird dichotomy, weird tension between kind of having rapid global expansion and global growth into different countries and opening more houses while maintaining this really exclusive kind of members club with high service, high quality, all of that. Like, it's a real dichotomy, and it's what it's struggled with being a public company. So personally, I think it needs to go private. But one big takeaway from this is just, if you don't buy in at IPO or when a country first goes public, do not stress. Sorry, when a company first goes
When
public,
you want to buy Spain, don't worry, you can buy it again.
just don't stress. It's like there could be a lot of IPOs have hiccups or, big hiccups like this where their share prices fall and there could be a better buying opportunity is kind of all I'm saying. But yeah.
It's so confusing to me that it's the most exclusive membership that is so expensive. They have these beautiful venues that are, fitted out with the most insane. It's just like it's so opposite to what it sounds like. If you have a share price that's fallen from $14 to below $4 and then it tumbles again, it just is. It's so weird. And why do you think going private is going to do anything? Like, how does that do anything differently?
Because you don't have to disclose your financials. You don't have to, keep creating value year after year after year for shareholders. You kind of have a closed book essentially where you can, you might have one bad year, but your share price doesn't get impacted, and then you might have 4 really great years, or you just have a bit more flexibility because you're not under the microscope, right? So you kind of give yourself a bit more breathing space to do what you want and carry out your initiatives, which might take a few years. And you don't have to report kind of quarterly results or yearly results to the stock market. You can kind of be like, it gives you space to
make long-term decisions rather than shit, we're falling again, do something else. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. But yeah, that was us.
We don't have time to answer this question, do we?
Nah, but we can put it in the next one.
Okay, we've got a really interesting question that's come through, which I'm so sorry, have run out of time to answer, but it's all about like when to sell. And it's such a great question. If you have any other burning, investing, stock market, economy, any questions that you want answered, send us a DM, put a voice note on our Curve hotline, or send us an email. We're going to answer a bunch of them in the next Curve Weekly. We promise we won't run out of time. But thank you so much for listening, and hope everyone has a great week.
See you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Curve Weekly. Make sure you hit subscribe or follow wherever you're listening so you're always up to date with the latest finance and investing news.
And feel free to leave a comment to let us know what you thought about this episode, because we would love your feedback.
We've got new Curve Weekly episodes for you to listen to every Monday, but until then, listen to Erasing the Curve. These are our in-depth podcast episodes where we chat about all things money.
We're also around all week on socials if you're hungry for more Curve content, and all the links are in this podcast's show notes. We hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you for the next episode of the Curve Weekly on Monday.
Okay, quickly. The Curve was created to empower and educate you about investing, but we are not financial advisors.
Our platform exists for educational purposes only, and it doesn't provide personalized investing advice for your individual needs and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision.
And always remember to do your own research before making any investment or financial decision.
We're here for any knowledge and support you need, but the final call is always yours.
And thanks for being here.
You got this.
Yeah, we know you got this.